Okay guys, so we're going to have a little look into what is the most expensive card right now from the Scarlet and Violet era that in a PSA 10. So obviously we're going to go through the mainline sets so far. I'm going to skip the McDonald's promo set and I'm going to skip the trick or trade one. But yeah, if we jump straight in, we'll go with the start, which would be Scarlet and Violet base set. So the chase card from that would be the Miriam. And yeah, that only sells raw for £20. But in a PSA 10, I mean, there's one here that sold best offer accepted at £89. So that was probably anywhere from like £70 to £80 that offer. And then there was another one here that sold for £90. So we can say that it's fair to say that it sells for at least £70, not even £100 for a PSA 10 Miriam. So yeah, let's move on to our next set, which would be Paldea Evolved. I do quite like this set. There's a lot of talk about this set for investing and stuff, but it's not even been out a year yet. So the chase card from this set would be the Magikarp, which is the same artist that did the Giratina, which is one of my favourite cards, if not one of my favourite cards from Sword and Shield. That sells raw for 80 odd quid. But if we go to eBay, we can have a look at PSA 10 prices. Yeah, so you got a few here that sold for 285, £310, 380, 350 best offer accepted. So you're looking at nearly £300 in a PSA 10 for this Magikarp, which, considering the set's not even really a year old yet, I'd say that's pretty impressive. Right, so now we go on to Obsidian Flames. I've not opened any of this setup. It doesn't interest me really at all, any of the cards out of this. I don't mind the chase card out of this. It's okay. It's not going for a lot of money in a raw copy. It's only £35. In a PSA 10 though, there was one here that sold for £275. And then if we scroll down and have a look at some of the others. So it doesn't sell, so for raw it's not, like I said, not really that expensive, anywhere 40 or 50 quid. So if you manage to grade it and get 250 quid, for extra money. But there is one here that sold for £150. So I'd say you're looking at like 150 to 200 quid for a PSA 10 of this Charizard, which isn't terrible. So then the next set, which is definitely a fan favourite, is Pokemon 151. And love the cards out of this set, I can't lie. I grew up with the OG 151, so yeah, I'm very much a fan of this artwork. And the chase card out of this is Charizard EX, which sells for £80 raw. And the PSA 10 listings, pretty good. I mean, you've got 250 here, 284, 280. So yeah, I mean, it's fair to say at least 250 in a PSA 10 for this card. But so far it looks like the Magikarp is the most expensive one out of all the sets so far. Now we move on to Paradox Rift. I don't really know much about this set other than the Roaring Moon, which is the chase card, and I do really like that. I don't mind this Goldengo card, Cheese String. I think he's quite cool. So Roaring Moon sells for about nearly 50 quid raw. In a PSA 10 though, sells for, I mean, there's one here sold that's for nearly £180. Another one here that's sold for 160. So you're looking at nearly at least 150, I'd say, for this Roaring Moon EX. Not amazing, but not shocking. So yeah, that's the best card for Paradox Rift. Now, Paldean Fates, actually looking at this set, I think it's slightly underrated. I mean, the Gardevoir EX is really nice and the Mew EX, and I quite like the Pikachu. The Iono card's quite nice. I don't mind all the baby shinies. But yeah, it doesn't get a lot of love and I think it's not too bad. This Charizard's pretty cool. This is selling raw for about 80 quid. But in a PSA 10, there was one here sold in March for nearly £250. There's another one here sold for best offer accepted for £295. Can't see that many sold. There's another one here sold in April for £230. So yeah, you're looking at least £200, I'd say, in a PSA 10 for this Paldean Fates Charizard, which is pretty good. And then our final set in the Scarlet and Violet era so far would be Temple Forces. Now, this set has not been out long at all. And the chase card from this is Iron Crown. I'm not a massive fan of this set at face value. None of these cards really interest me, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to see what cards are doing the best out of the sets so far. So it's Iron Crown, and that will fetch you in a PSA 10. These prices are super inflated. I mean, these are the ones that I could find where it's, you know, nearly £400 for a PSA 10, which obviously is, you know, doing better than all the other cards. But I got a feeling that because this is such a new set, that these prices are going to come down dramatically. But you know, I'd estimate anywhere from like £100 to £150 for this card in less than a couple of months' time. But yeah, if we take a look back at all the sets that we've gone through, I would say that the Magikarp is the one that comes out on top, and I think it will stay that way. I don't see any of the other cards, other chase cards from those sets catching up with the Magikarp. I mean, maybe the Charizard EX from 151 might give it a good run for its money, but Paldea Evolved hasn't been out that long. Definitely will be a reprint, so that could knock the Magikarp off the #1 spot for being the best card in the Scarlet and Violet era so far. But we're going to have to see. So I hope you enjoyed this sort of little market update video that I did, and yeah, if you did, then thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.